Good day, everyone. Today we're going to discuss writing survey questionnaire and writing survey reports. Before that, let us know first what will be your goal by the end of this lesson. So you will write a survey questionnaire on your chosen topic. So for this week, we're just going to create survey questionnaire, and maybe at the end of our lesson in EAPP, we're now going to conduct a survey, maybe together with a concept paper or with a proposal. But for now, let us focus first on creating survey questionnaire. Despite that, we're still going to discuss the survey report so that you will have an idea how to write a survey report after writing or after conducting a survey. Now, first, what is a survey? A survey is a data collection method that involves asking a selected group of people, and report is an objective and systematic written presentation of questions. So you're gonna ask a selected group of people. It's not just asking anyone else. So you have a target respondents or target people to ask, or to wherein you could gather information for that specific group of people. And then after gathering that data, you will now create a report or a survey report that presents the results or the findings of that survey. Now, the first part of this lesson deals with constructing and drafting a survey questionnaire that is pertinent or relevant or important to gathering information for the study. The question is, how do we conduct a survey? So a questionnaire is an objective data gathering tool. So it is called objective because you are not subjective when you are gathering that data. You're not involving your feelings. You're not basing on your opinion. It is objective because you are basing on facts, basing on what the others have said or what others have responded. Okay? So now you may just borrow a ready-made, validated questionnaire prepared by others. But in that case, you should give credit to the original author by citing his or her work. So, pwede po kayong manghiram as long as or provided that you will give credits to the owner. So, maybe you would say that this survey questionnaire is prepared by this one, this author, or these researchers, or this survey questionnaire is taken from this author or this research, okay? Ayan. So, you may also make your own questionnaire. But in our case, ayan, we have to create our own questionnaire. It is for you to be able to be familiar with how do you do that questionnaires. It will be beneficial for you because when you will have your research subject, you're now ready to do that because you've already done it here in EAPP. Okay? So, when you create your self-made questionnaire, you must consider these several parts. So remember these 4 parts. First, the personal details of subjects. Okay? So it depends on the nature of the analysis. So what information you would like to get from your respondents, such as their names, or you can make it optional too, such as their age, or if they are students, you could also take or get what section are they from, or what strand are they from if they are senior high school, or what grade level are they in right now. Okay, so you could also ask for their gender. So those are the personal details that you have to get. It still depends on what is your topic or what is the nature of your analysis. Okay, and the number 2, you should also include the introductory paragraph wherein you will include there your greetings, for example, dear respondents or good day. You would also write there the introduction wherein you will explain what is that all about, what is that survey all about, why are you doing that survey, what is your goal for that survey, what do you want to discover, okay, and request for compliance. You could tell them that this is a compliance for the subject EAPP, or this survey questionnaire supports the study that we are conducting or the research that we are conducting. Or you could also say that This survey questionnaire is a compliance or a requirement for the EAPP subject, okay? And you should state your purpose, okay? Purpose of that survey. So what is the purpose of that survey? Why are you conducting that? Aside from it is a requirement, maybe there is something that you would like to discover, maybe there's something that you would like to achieve or prove, okay? So yon. In that introductory paragraph, you could also include the instructions that you would like to give to your respondents. Now class, after writing your introductory paragraph, you're now going to present your questions. So speaking of questions, you can use close-ended questions or open-ended questions. When we say close-ended questions, those are the questions with objective answers. When we say objective answers, the answers of the respondents are specific. Okay? For example, it can be the questions can be answered by yes or no, or agree and disagree. Ratings from 1 to 5, yung mga strongly agree or to strongly disagree, or those choices with always, sometimes, never. So the answers that you will get is objective. So definitely the respondents could have the same answers, okay? However, when we say open-ended questions, those are the type of questions that requires answers from the respondents that are subjective, okay? Subjective, it involves their opinion, or it requires them to give a short answer or even an essay type of answer, okay? So those are the two questions that you could use. So it's up to you if you're going to use only closed questions or close-ended questions or open-ended questions or both of them. Okay, but most of the time, the researchers or the conductors of that survey use close-ended questions because it is easier to gather data using that kind of questions. Okay, and last, you will give or you will also include thank you note. So in this thank you note, you will just show your appreciation for those participants or for those respondents who answered your survey questionnaire. But last year, I asked my students to just write the thank you note or just include that in their letter or in their introductory paragraph. So this is an example from my students last year who created this survey questionnaire. So I would like to acknowledge the group of Texon from 11-12 Deuteronomy, okay, who created this survey questionnaire. So as what you can see, the 4 parts of that survey questionnaire is present there. First one, we can see the personal details, the name, optional, the age, the sex, and the section and strand of the respondents. You could also see the letter here. So the greetings here, dear respondents, good day. In our effort to improve our product or service, we invite you to participate in this brief survey. Your recent experience is very important to us. This survey is all about dengue. Your participation in this research project is completely voluntary. Your responses will be confidential, and the data from this survey will only be reported for academic purpose. Thank you in advance for your thoughtful feedback. So you can also see there the thank you note already. And this is the instruction. Please answer the following questions. So as what you can see, they choose the close-ended questions which can be answered only by yes or no. Okay, so that is an example of a survey questionnaire. So I hope that this will help. Now class, how do we formulate questions for our questionnaire? What are the things that we have to consider? So these are the following guidelines on how to formulate questions for your research questionnaire. First one, ask easy to answer questions first. So unahin po natin yung mga madadali lang sagutin, or yes or no, or yung mga simpleng tanong lang, okay? Huwag kayo kaagad magtatanong na, kunwari, sa mga I hope that some of you or most of you or all of you have already answered survey questionnaires, right? So, meron ding mga survey questionnaire tungkol sa COVID-19 response form. So, hindi naman yun nagtatanong kaagad ng number 1, do you have a COVID-19? Di ba? Hindi naman ganun yung tanong. So, madali muna yung tanong. Simpleng tanong hanggang sa pa-complicated na pa-complicated. So, wag din kayo kaagad magtatanong ng number 1, do you have a body odor? Di ba? Parang, ops, napaka-sensitive ka agad ng unang mong tanong. So, avoid those kind of questions. Yung mga easy lang muna. So, instead of saying, do you have a COVID-19? Dapat ang tanong ay, have you experienced any symptoms of COVID-19 for the past few days? Yung mga ganun lang. Okay? And then next, ask information needed for subsequent questions first. Because the questions, your questions must be in logical order. Meron dapat yang maayos na pagkakasunod-sunod. For example, class, balik tayo dun sa binigay kong example. I told you that, kunwari meron kayong sinagutan na ang tanong, have you experienced any symptoms of COVID-19 for the past few days? So if your answer is yes, then there is a next question, okay? There is a subsequent question after that. And then the question will be, if yes, what are the symptoms that you have experienced? So, and then you will now give the options. What are the symptoms? Like, for example, the colds. Have you ever had cough, vomiting, diarrhea, and so on and so forth? In other words, class, your questions must be arranged in logical order as what the number 3 says. Okay? So, hindi pwedeng mauuna yung symptoms kaagad. Ano yung mga symptoms na naramdaman mo? Without even asking first kung may naramdaman ba siyang symptoms. Right? Yan. And number 4, avoid establishing a response set. When we say response set, it is a tendency to reply in a certain way. Yung tipong magiging bias ka as a researcher, or magiging bias din yung iyong respondents. So, don't force them to reply in a certain way, or don't threat them, or don't trigger them to reply in a certain way. Yung tipong magiging, maiilang sila na maging honest dun sa sagot nila. So, for example, class, just imagine if I gave you a survey questionnaire, and then the first question is, do you love UCC? Yes or no? Diba? How will you feel when I ask you if you love UCC? Yes, and then you're just going to answer yes or no. Diba? You might be threatened to answer no, right? Because parang the tendency is you would like to please me, or mahihiya kayo sa akin. So, dapat when you are creating questions, don't let the readers or don't let the respondents na maging ilang sila or hindi sila komportable sa tanong mo, or maisip nila na, ay, ito dapat yung response ko. So, instead of asking if they love UCC, yes or no, why don't you just let them rate it? So, how much do you like or how much do you love UCC? You may ask them from 1 to rate it from 1 to 5. It's better, right, than to just ask them yes or no. Ayan. So, parang they will be pushed or forced to say yes. Okay? Now, number 5, vary questions by length and type. Of course, you have to use different questions. And number 6, put sensitive and open-ended questions last. Class, as much as possible, avoid using sensitive questions. Okay? Kung hindi naman siya kailangan sa topic mo or sa research mo, sa survey mo, wag ka nang magtanong ng mga sensitive na questions such as, have you ever tried to use illegal drugs before? Diba? Kung hindi naman siya kailangan, wag ka na magtanong ng mga ganong sensitive. Pero, kung kinakailangan talaga siya para sa research mo or sa study mo, kung meron kang mga ganyang kasensitive na tanong, put them on the last part. Okay po? Para hindi naman parang magugulat yung readers mo na or yung respondents mo na, hala, number 1 pa lang, ito na kaagad yung tanong, di ba? So, put them last. And, ang tawag dito? Make them feel comfortable or secure them or assure them that the information that they will give to you will be confidential. Kaya kung mapapansin niyo dun sa pinakita kong example, di ba sabi nila dyan, your responses will be confidential. So, pwede nyo rin isulat sa introductory paragraph to make your respondents feel that you're protecting protecting their privacy, or you're giving them privacy, or you're protecting the information that they provide. Okay po? And kung sensitive din ang inyong mga tinatanong, huwag nyo na sila i-require. Optional na lang ang kanilang name. Ayan. And ayan, and open-ended questions. So, hindi nyo naman gugustuhin, 'di ba, na sa exam una kaagad yung essay na part. So, kung sa exam hinuhuli ang essay part, ganun din sa ating pagsusurvey. We should put the open-ended questions on the last part. Okay? Now, these are the things that you should avoid in constructing questions. First one, avoid double-barreled questions. When we say double-barreled questions, those are the questions that contains two answers. For example, class, the question is, do you love the burger, or do you like the burger and fries of Jollibee? Yes or no? So it's like, for your respondents, it is somehow confusing and it is hard to answer, because what if they only like the fries but they don't like the burger? Or what if they like the burger but they don't like the fries? So instead of joining those two items in one question, just separate them into two questions. Okay? So una mong itatanong, do you like the fries of Jollibee? Yes or no? Do you like the burger of Jollibee or in Jollibee? Yes or no? So in that way, mas makakapagsagot sila ng maayos. Okay? Ano pa? Number 2, you should also avoid ambiguous questions. When we say ambiguous questions, those are the type of questions na masyadong broad or masyadong confusing. Hindi siya specific. An example for that is, kunwari, somebody or a survey questionnaire asks you like this: have you bought anything for the past few days? So that is an ambiguous question, because you will really answer yes, because you are buying a lot of things, right? It can be from your cosmetics, it can be the things that you need at home. You can buy garlic, onion, magic sarap, nor cubes, and so on and so forth. So definitely you have bought some things for the past few days. So if you would like to ask that kind of question, make it specific. So for example, you would ask, have you bought any gadget for the past few days? Or have you bought any makeup kit or cosmetics for the past few days? So that question is more specific, and mas madali siyang sagutin. Okay po? And you would also get the result, the accurate result that you would want to get, because your questions are specific. Okay? Also, avoid the leading questions. So it's like the response set. Leading questions are the questions that are biased, or that are trying to control the responses of the respondents. Okay? So don't ask the question like, you love the Jollibee. You love the Jollibee, you love McDonald's, don't you? Diba? Parang you're pushing them. It's like, I am beautiful, am I not? So, avoid those leading questions. Okay? Number 4, avoid sensitive, as what I've told you earlier, and threatening response categories. Okay? Now, how do we administer the questionnaire? It is suggested that the administrator should be present during the time when the respondents answer the questionnaire. So this is more applicable when you are conducting the face-to-face survey. However, since we are on the new normal, if ever that you conducted the survey via Google Form or Google Forms, Facebook, and any other method, you should still be active. You should be online during the time that you are administering the survey. So why? Okay, this is to allow for immediate feedback if there are clarifications on the part of the respondents. So if ever your respondents doesn't understand this specific item, they could ask you, they could clarify things, or if ever that they could not open the file or the form, they could ask you to open the Google form for them to access the link. Now, in identifying who will answer your questionnaire, choose the respondents who have substantial information pertinent or important to your paper. Class, remember, you should set a target who will be your respondents. So if you set in your mind or if you set in your study that your respondents are STEM students, be consistent with that. Okay? So maybe your research or your study is just for the STEM students or just among STEM students. So if that is the case, don't let the others students from different strand to answer your questionnaire or to answer your survey, because you could get different result or you could get inaccurate results. Okay? So dapat specific kung sino ba yung mga respondents mo na makakapagbigay sa inyo ng information na kailangan mo. Kasi baka mamaya you have terms or you have subjects there na maaaring hindi subject ng ibang strand. Or for example, ang respondents mo ay students in general. Don't let your neighborhoods answer that because you might not get the accurate result that you have to get, okay? Ayun. Now, how do we summarize the results? So for closed questionnaires, you will tally the responses of the respondents. So, for example, the question is, McDonald's is the first restaurant or fast food restaurant that they think when they feel hungry or when they want to buy some meal. Yes or no? So, you will now tally if how many say yes or answered yes, how many answered no. Okay, so you will tally the results or the responses. However, if you use an open-ended questions, since essay type yan or short answer type yan, you need to get only the responses of the respondents that is pertinent or important to your paper. So if ever the question is, why do you love McDonald's? So if ever their answer is, I am very satisfied with the service that they provide. So just get that important information. Wag nyo na isama yung mga kwento nila na because me and my husband meet in that specific fast food and we dated there, and yung mga iba pang mga kwento nila. So yung mahalaga lang po na information yung kukunin ninyo, okay? Also, you must incorporate these responses to your paper by summarizing it, by paraphrasing it, writing it in your own words, or kung meron kayong gustong i-highlight, merong magandang sinabi or important na sinabi yung iyong respondent, you could quote it. Ayan. Now, once you're finished with your survey, tapos na kayo mag-conduct ng survey, nakagather na kayo ng information, nakapagtali na kayo ng results, now you are now ready to write your survey report. Now, a survey report is an objective and systematic written representation of the goals and findings of a survey. In other words, it just explain or present what have you taken from that survey. Ano yung nakuha mo? And ano naman ngayon kung yan yung result na nakuha mo? Okay? Now, how do we write a survey report? Don't forget, class, to consider the following sections or parts of a survey report. First part is the introduction. So what you're going to do there is to introduce your survey report by presenting the reason for conducting your survey and your objectives. So bakit ka nga ba nag-survey? What is that for? Ano ba yung goals mo dyan? Ano yung objective mo dyan? Ano yung gusto mong ma-discover? Okay? Or ano yung studies mo? What is it all about? Ayan. Also, after explaining that in introduction, you will now proceed with the procedures. Ngayon, this section reports the procedure involved in the survey. So it also includes the details such as the description of your respondents. It is the part wherein you're now going to use the personal details or maybe summarize the personal details provided by your respondents. So you could say that the respondents are students in STEM, the respondents are from the STEM strand that ranges from the age 18 to 22. So it can be like that. Okay? So just describe them. There are 12 female, and then 13 or 50 or how many males have answered that survey. Okay? So you will just describe your respondents. And also, you will describe the survey instrument. So, ano yung ginamit mo na survey instrument? So, of course, ano ba yung survey questionnaire mo? Is that close-ended question or composed of open-ended questions? Or both? Okay? At kung close-ended question naman, what type of questions yan? Are those questions can be answered by yes or no, agree, disagree, rating or 1 to 5 rating, sometimes, always, sometimes, or never. So, yan. Describe nyo lang yung survey questionnaire na ginamit ninyo. And, the implementation of the survey. So, how did you conduct that survey? So, kung yan ay face-to-face, the survey was conducted by visiting the classroom of each section. Yan. Or, kung yan naman ay through Google Form, pwede nyo sabihin na the survey was conducted via Google Forms, by sending the link of Google Forms. Okay? Ayun. Tapos, magbigay lang kayo ng konting description kung ano nangyayari kung sa pagsasagot nila sa Google Form. Ayan. Now, you're going to present the results. So, the results section should present the answers to the survey questions in paragraph form, through highlights of the result, and in graphical form. It can be through tables or other graphics. Kung mapapansin ninyo, class, if you have seen an example of research, dyan sa part ng results na yan, nagbibigay sila ng mga, kunwari, mga pie chart, yung mga bar graph, line graph, ayun. So, aside from magsasabi kayo ng result, kung ano yung nakuha nyo dyan, hindi nyo lang basta sasabihin na 91% of the respondents says that they prefer Jollibee than McDonald's. You're not just going to state that. As much as possible, dapat meron kayong graphics or table or any graphical illustration for that. You can include a pie chart, tapos nagpapakita yan dyan ng 91%. Ayan, kunwari bilog, pie chart as 91% of the respondents says, ayan. So, kung matatandaan ninyo, class, I have told you that those image or graphics or illustrations are also an example of supporting details, okay? So, it supports your main idea or it supports the information that you are stating, okay po? So, parang mas mukha siyang convincing and reliable tignan if you have this kind of supporting details or graphics or tables or charts, okay po? Now, in conclusion and recommendations, now you're going to summarize what you have discovered, recap the key findings of the survey, present generalizations regarding the responses, and you could also give recommendations. Okay, on the other hand, present suggested research topics or action. Now, class, if you really think that your topic or your survey or your research is really relevant, or beneficial or useful, you may suggest or recommend that it should be studied further by the other researchers, or you could recommend further studies by others, or you could recommend that your survey or the information that you have taken can be used by other researchers or can be used by others as source. Okay, so it can be like that. After conclusions and recommendations, you may now proceed with the appendix. So, what you're going to include there are all the extras that you don't need in the body but are related to the study. For example, yung mga interview transcripts or yung mga mismong survey questionnaire ninyo, doon nyo siya ilalagay sa appendix. Or the photographs or yung mga photo documentation. So, for example, ipapakita ninyo na ito yung part na gumagawa pa lang siya ng survey questionnaire. Ito yung part na nagko-conduct ka na ng survey. Ito yung part na nagtatali ka na ng results. Ito yung part na gumagawa ka na ng mga illustration or graphics, yung mga bar graph or pie chart, whatever you have used. Ayun. And observation forms, if you have used any. Now, last but not the least, you will include references. So the references section presents the complete bibliographic information of all the sources cited in the paper. Consult your teacher on the documentation system for APA that is going to be used. So as what I've told you, we're using the APA Citation 7th edition. So the video that I let you watch last time, it was just the part 1 kasi in-text citation pa lang po yun. So yung part 2, abangan nyo po yun, that is the complete bibliographic citation, okay, or complete referencing or creating reference list. Ayan po. So, in that case, hindi nyo lang siya basta i-mention na ito yung surname, tapos ito yung date, kundi kompleto na. Yung surname, yung year or date of publication, tapos ano yung title ng work, saan galing yung ano na yun, yung information na yun, anong book, or anong page, saan pinublish. Ayan. So, next week, that will be our lesson. So, take note of that, class. Mahalaga na i-include ninyo yung mga reference na ginamit or pinagkuhanan ninyo. Okay po? Now, class, if you have questions or clarifications, you could just chat me on our chat box or leave a comment on our Google Classroom. So, I hope that you have learned a lot from this lesson, and I hope that you are now able to do your own survey questionnaire. So, thank you for listening, and see you on our next lesson. Bye!